I had a perfect storm of events occur a couple mornings ago, and I wanted to tell you about them. I was having trouble falling asleep the night before, and my mind was racing, and I was thinking about Google Glass, and I was kind of writing an essay in my head, and that was why I couldn't fall asleep. And I was writing about how I had 3 points. One was just the fact that Google Glass seems to be an answer to a question that no one was asking. It seemed to be a product that didn't have a purpose. Just a whiz-bang or a gee-whiz features just because we can. And the second point that I had was a prediction. And my prediction was that Google Glass will not sell in significant numbers. And my third point was that my fear is that Google Glass or that idea will take humanity a giant step forward towards where we seem to be heading, which is where nobody is ever present anymore. Nobody is ever where they are, focused on who is around them or what's going on. That we are becoming increasingly and increasingly disconnected from the current moment, from the current people. So I had those 3 points in that I was kind of sorting out or working through in my head. First, the fact, or my opinion, that it is a pointless product. Second, the prediction that it will not sell in significant numbers. And third, the fear that just the idea of it or the fact that it ever does fully go on sale will help lead us, will kind of shove us a giant step forward towards this reality where no one is fully present ever. So I had all that in my mind as I'm trying to fall asleep. And also, for the last several days prior to that, maybe a week prior to that, I was meaning to talk with one of our friends. We have a family friend, and sometimes they're over for a movie night or something, and everyone in the room is watching the movie except for one person, and that one person is going like this for 2 hours. We're all sitting on the couch in physical contact with each other, interacting with each other a little bit, except for one of them, one of us who is going like this. And sometimes that person will be over for dinner, and we'll tell the rest of the people there, and our daughters will say, hey, iPods away, set your books down, we're just going to eat dinner now. Except for, so we're all seated eating dinner except for one person, and the one person is going like this. And I had 3 problems with that. And the first problem was it seemed like bad manners to me. It seemed a little rude. And the second problem that I had with that kind of behavior is that the message seems to be, you are so unimportant to me that I would rather read pointless posts by people I barely know than interact with you. You have such little value to me that I would rather read posts by people I don't even know, things that they didn't even create but are merely reposting, than interact with you. That seemed to be the clear and repeated message from that kind of behavior. And that bothers me. I think that bothers everyone, that message. And the third problem that I had with it is the model it was setting for our children. What do adults do? This is what adults do. How do I act more grown up? Well, what are the grown-ups doing? Doing this. And that's the behavior that's being modeled. For better or for worse, children learn how to behave entirely by modeling or indoctrination. And this is what is being modeled. So that was on my mind for about a week. Then I had the thoughts about Google Chrome. I wake up the next morning and get online to check when a package was going to be delivered. And somehow I happen upon Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert. I happen upon his blog, and instead of a cartoon that very morning, he has posted a long essay about cell phones and Google Glass. And he says, hey, here's the fact. We have arrived at a place at a time where if two people are in the same room alone together, one of them is not there. One of them is on their phone. And we have, for the first time ever, a strange space meld, I think he calls it, where a person is physically there, their body is present, but their mind, their consciousness is somewhere else with somewhere else. And he asks a question, he says, this is a legitimate, honest question. What is the etiquette there? Can I treat that other person as if they weren't there because they're not there? Can I leave the room without saying goodbye? Can I, for example, start vacuuming as if they weren't there? Can I take a nap as if they weren't there? Can I make a phone call that lasts 2 hours and then when they're done texting, they have to wait for me because it's as if they weren't there yet anyways? And he ends by talking about Google Glass and saying that that's where we are now, and what will it be like in the future if Google Glass does catch on and nobody is ever where they are. If no two people are ever in the same room together. Whether it is a couple alone in a house, whether it's an elevator full of strangers, whether it is a transaction at some retail shop, no interactions will the two people be fully present. That was the third thing that happened in kind of this perfect storm, all in the same several days. And then the fourth and final thing that happened was I arrive at school and where I work, and there's students there, and as I'm walking in, it's before school started, and I notice something for the first time. I see the same scene every single morning when I walk into school, but this particular morning I notice it for the first time, and it's students standing there like this. I've seen it literally thousands of times over the course of the years that I've worked there, and it hadn't really made any connection or fired off or inspired any thoughts until that morning because of the other things that happened. And I'm immediately struck by, what are you doing? Why would you get there early just to go like this? Can't you be reading a book or doing homework or exercising or taking a nap or drawing or creating something? You're really going to spend the hour before school that you have going like this. And all four of those thoughts kind of combined, weighing on my mind. They kind of combined, and I immediately sat down and tweeted something, and then immediately tweeted a second thing. And the first thing I tweeted was this. 2 questions. Is it necessary to look at your phone that much? And do you need someone else to tell you to put your phone away? Then shortly after I tweeted that, I had another thought, and I sat down and tweeted this other point that was, I said, a person's productivity is indirectly proportionate to the amount of time they spend staring at their phone screen. Someone who is staring at their phone screen is someone who is not making their art, or finishing their homework, or completing some task, or following a dream, or any other such thing. And I guess if there is a final conclusion to this, it would be this thought: if it is standing in the way of you making your art, smash it and throw it in the garbage. If it is getting in the way of you doing something, accomplishing something that you will be proud of later, smash it and throw it in the garbage. Why would you tolerate? Why would you bring in to your life or stand for something entering your life that is going to get in the way of you being productive, following your dream, doing work that you will later be proud of? Thanks for listening.